Chris Wallace here, advising them in. Today, I want to talk to you about lettered woke radicals. Gentlemen, we just finished Pride Month. So I want to talk to you about woke culture and see if I can give you some perspective. My concerns are mainly as a father, but I'll also speak to what I believe is a descent into chaos overall. Lastly, I hope to inspire you to assume your powerful role as a defender male. Let me first state that I have known many gay males and females. Most of them are creative types. They just want to coexist with the rest of us. When I read the comments below Instagram posts about LGBTQ excesses, many start with, as a queer male, I'm not okay with this, or this risks whatever gains we've made, or I'm gay and I don't agree with influencing children. There are plenty of good gay people in the world. But to separate things, let me first explain the nuts and bolts of how we got here in a way that you'll get right away. You see, over the last couple of decades, culturally, we have been overtaken by a faction known as woke. The term suggests waking up to a new awareness. Not quite. It's more a minority of self-interested people who believe they are guardians of the real truths, who justify acting as societal gatekeepers for what you believe, how you can act, and even what you can say. But waking up from what? In describing its absurdity, Professor Peter Kaufman of Birkbeck College in University of London, UK, he says woke is about making sacred historically marginalized race, gender, and sexual identity groups with equality and emotional safety as its pillars. The making sacred is part, that's a little problematic. Since we're not all equal, so is the idea of equality. And come to think of it, expecting emotional safety is impossible, irrational, irresponsible, and in fact, immature. From what I can discern from a lifetime of observing how all of this has evolved, it sure looks to me like the woke trend is largely a manifestation of feminine negative emotion. That's not to say it's about nothing. Since men with their large group bias build cultures, you can bet by their very nature, the women who stress test those cultures on everyone's behalf give men a hard time so as to ensure humans can create life together. Part of the balance, kind of important. This is what the lettered radicals seize upon to justify their self-aggrandizing demand for attention. Throughout evolution, there's always been a durable balance required between feminine and masculine approaches to life. I'm not talking about patriarchal dominated civilization since the advent of agriculture 11,000 years ago. No, I'm talking more our shared existence as men and women since the very beginning of Homo sapiens. I'm talking nature more than nurture. She is the burdened female and precious creator of life. He is the expendable male and powerful defender of life. With some overlap between them, together, they are team human. That's reality. The male-female continuum woke factions have been pushing for years is dead wrong. There is no fucking continuum. A very recent study out of Stanford found no overlap between male and female, and researchers rejected the idea of a continuum. Male pattern brain connectivity predicted male cognitive function, but not female cognitive function. Female pattern brain connectivity predicted female cognitive function, but not male cognitive function. An article in Scientific American a couple of years ago did a great job of showing how estrogen advantaged endurance in women during our evolution as hunter-gatherers. Then the authors went fully woke and tried to tell us that women hunted as much as men, that the man hunts, women gathers contentions were completely wrong. The woke minorities, I'm sure, were ecstatic. There must have been much self-pleasuring going on while people read that magazine. Only it was all bullshit. Another group of researchers recently found the 2023 conclusions were based on methodological flaws and selection bias. While attempting to replicate the previous work, they came to a totally different conclusion. Women hunters were very much the exception rather than the rule. Duh. Throughout history, it was men who defended their people, delivered sustenance, and made decisions to ensure tribal survival. Defend, deliver, decide. Women use their extraordinary gifts of negative emotion to spot sickness in the people around them and danger in the environment. Some years ago, Hillary Clinton was in a Latin American country and mentioned that it was women who suffered most during times of war. Of course, this was a preposterous lie. I'm not saying women don't suffer in wartime, because, of course, everyone suffers when there's bombs dropping and bullets flying. For fuck's sakes. It's just that comparatively, perhaps she meant more that women were inconvenienced or even traumatized, because in any war, the vast majority of deaths are male. Top suffering has to go to death. When Clinton uttered her blasphemous commentary, it confirmed politicians will tell an audience whatever it wants to hear, and not much protest was heard from males of Western cultures. That's important to note. When a vulnerable girl in her teens or as a young woman needed defending, it was fathers and brothers and uncles and cousins and other males who provided her with safety. I watched the movie Taken, starring Liam Neeson, the other night with my daughter. My daughter loved it. She knows she's under my protection. You can watch the trailer on YouTube. The noted therapist Chloe Madonis helped Tony Robbins become a better interventionist some years ago. She told me confronting intrapartner violence in the 1970s, if a couple split up because of his violence, Chloe got her to date a few men for protection, to send a signal to her attacker that she had other people in her corner. I'm not sure how well that kind of a strategy will work today. With the kind of immigration we have, we've got some entrenched beliefs about misogynistic beliefs coming from all around the world. But our natural evolution is for both a man and a woman to raise children with the help of a series of allo parents, like grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings, and other close tribe members. Ever since the Victorian era, men leave home to work at jobs and return at the end of the day. This left women to raise children all on their own. And that's something that's wholly unnatural. Women suffered. And this came to a head during the extraordinary baby boom years post-World War II. Women pushed back. Second wave feminism was upon us. Soon, with the pill and abortion empowering women's reproductive choices, more and more females moved into the workforce and also sought post-secondary educations. Soon, feminism's influences confronted the halls of academia. There it encountered male professors from upper middle class homes whose fathers had sacrificed providing for their families, including so as to be able to send them to school. And women are good at keeping boys alive to adulthood, but they don't make men. The robust balance of male and female family influence that had grown children forever was now skewed. Since men can only be taught to become men by other men, the tradition became haphazard. A great many males grew to adulthood having never left their mothers emotionally. This is what a plethora of feminist-inspired women encountered in universities. Nice guys. Men of covert contracts and a tendency to put women on pedestals. Look up the wow effect. Women are wonderful. Males who projected their need for maternal acceptance on all women because it's all they knew. And the trend continues to today. This is where woke was born. Over the last 100+ years, politicians have shifted responsibility for governing to various bureaucracies, and because of the sheer number of people. This unelected professional managerial elite is not answerable to the electorate and holds the real power, and politicians fear them. Our system has been captured. It started with a weakening of men generation by generation until now we have a complacent and confused male population who can't fucking say no. Constraints on free speech, open immigration in Western countries, and the indoctrination of children by the lettered radicals of LGBTQ are symptoms. As a father to kids 10 and 13, that last one hits close to home. Luckily, it's not everyone. There exists a decent 20% of men who still have their balls intact and who are ready to call out the bullshit. These are the Joe Rogans and the Jordan Petersons and the Elon Musks, even of the world. And I count myself among them. I'm inviting you to be one of them. Many women feel the same way. Some are vocal. Most are waiting for men to stand up and be men. She can't do it without you. Bet on that. Things are only going to get worse. Look, we just finished Pride Month. Are you fucking kidding me? Why? Why have Pride Month at all? Never did I ever think for a minute that it would go this far. I could care less what two consenting adults do behind closed doors. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but I was in the penitentiary decades ago as a much, much younger man, and I saw what goes on. But the lettered movement has lost my trust over these particular areas affecting children. A month of pride overshadowing Men's Mental Health Month and Father's Day. The movement would like to see Mother's and Father's Day replaced with a Person's Day, lest some same-sex parented kid be offended. I wrote to my son's school when I didn't get a Father's Day card last year. I got one this year. And there's pride parades of half naked or naked men, some in diapers, celebrating their fetishes, sometimes with children present, bust in to watch, all in the name of tolerance. Where are the fucking men who stand up and say no? What about drag queen story hour in public libraries? Transvestism is a sexual fetish by gay males sexually excited by cross-dressing. This has no business around our children. Where are the men who stand up and say no? What about transgender and female sports, robbing female athletes of their due, including grown transgender men displaying male genitals in teen girls' locker rooms at public pools? Where are the men who stand up and say no? Gender affirming care is a particularly harmful evil, resulting in the cutting off of genitals of teenage children and the use of irreversible hormone blocking drugs. Where are the men who stand up and say no? A Canadian bastion of woke culture, the CBC Radio, devotes a lot of June programming to Pride. In one clip last weekend, the announcer described Pride events as loud, busy, and boozy. Right. Last year in New York, the Pride Parade fools chanted, "Hey, hey, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." Thanks for the fucking warning. I hear you loud and clear. Where are the men who stand up and say no? My children's schools sent out notices announcing LGBTQ events, mentioning LGBTQ rights are human rights, and LGBTQ isn't mentioned in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But these self-righteous brainwashers believe they have the right to go and influence vulnerable children. I keep my children home on those days. I write letters to principals and school trustees. Where are the men who stand up and say no? I've seen confused men proudly walking their toddlers into drag queen story hour at local libraries, as if that virtual signal was going to earn them a pat on the fucking head and even maybe get them laid. Drag queen is a paraphilia. It's gay males who get off sexually on cross-dressing. Give your fucking head a shake. In British Columbia, a government-funded outfit is offering drag queen camps for kids as young as 7. And as far as I know, it's still being offered. Where are the men who stand up and say no? Even the Bible says, "For the waywardness of the simple will slay them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them." What an apt quote. If a man fails to be a powerful defender of life, he reverts to expendability. That's how it works. Come and stand shoulder to shoulder with the rest of us. It seems clear LGBTQ and their feminist allies and the whole woke mobs believe they have neutralized the defender males as toxic under the pretense of civil rights and false science on gender. Stand up to it. I send power, love, and blessings to all those folks from the gay community who hate these excesses by the lettered radicals. I invite you to stand with me in protest. It seems clear that the LGBTQ radicals have a twisted agenda of chaos. Not on my watch. What about you? If you have questions, comments, holler at me and I'll be sure to answer. In the meantime, stay powerful, true, and free. Thanks for watching.